Let us know where you're checking in from.
What's up? I'm gonna drop a quick note as well in my IG
Okay.
just so that folks know. I'm gonna also send this to you, so we'll have this to drop when we're about to go live for all our brethren. You know. So, fellas, let us know where you're at, what part of the world you're in. We're excited to be here tonight, and we want to provide a great experience for you. This is the Menswear Mastermind. Myself, Style Jumper, and my good brother, Style Architects. It's going to be a duo tonight. Looks like our good brother Vladimir won't be available tonight, but hopefully he'll be back with us next week. So
Oh
we're
no,
about to get to. Oh, there he is. Okay, okay. You in the building, sir?
What's good, bro?
Yo, I was just saying that we didn't think you were going to be in tonight. So great to have you.
Now, when I'm sitting down, I'm okay, bro.
Okay.
you get your
Okay,
walker
got
or
it.
anything?
You
Yeah,
know,
walking, standing. Yeah, bro. What's good though?
we're good, man. Weather's nice weather right now. We're feeling it's feeling great. How
Yeah,
about you guys up there in the north?
the weather's been great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Beautiful.
The fall spring is still here, so
Mhm. Oh, okay.
it's the fall spring. That's what we always call it.
Let me get the sound in my headphones. Right now, it's coming to the computer.
Okay.
I'm glad I was telling Mike that Star Architects that I'm gonna create this little hookup so we can send it to our peeps
Mhm.
as
Yep.
we go
Yeah.
live.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So
What's
how's
going on
everybody?
in YouTube land, man? What's good in YouTube land today, bro? Missed y'all last
Fellas.
week.
Seems like a lot going on in YouTube land, depending on where you're at. So I look forward to
Yeah.
hearing those thoughts.
What's new? What happened? What's going on, Mike? Speak on it. What's happening in YouTube land and the other people's world that we not be aware of? I don't
Oh,
know.
it's just it depends on your interest lies. So
Okay,
mine has just
got it.
been podcast, a little bit of political, a little bit of some nonsense. So
Yeah.
Size over 60 says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Checking in from Detroit. What's going on, Unc?
What
What's
up,
up,
though?
What up, though?
Got me and Mike Powell checking in. And let us
What's
know
up, Mike?
where you're checking in from."
Yeah, let us know, fellas.
Size over 60 says, "It's unusually warm in the D. In Detroit. I'm saying the D sounds crazy.
Yeah, it does.
Always. Even before we started saying positive.
In the
Sounds crazy.
D.
So yes, make sure you okay in the shy. It's a little warm up
Oh,
there.
shot.
So if you guys have any questions, any style related questions, any thoughts, any perspectives, if you just want to argue about some want to argue about something, feel free to put it in the chat. We got Mike Powell checking in from Chicago. I got Ephraim Harden checking in from the DMV. I got
Oh, Ephraim. What up, fam?
my man Keith from Florida. So we got folks in the building. Again, fellas, we already know how this is about to play. Let's not do this week.
Yeah, let's
8:22.
get these
I want to have
questions out
8 billion questions.
early.
Let,
Let's
let,
get
let,
these
let the
questions.
questions fly now.
Yep, because
Let
it's
them
already
fly
10
now.
after, so we uh we on a crunch.
All right.
You know.
So we got a tailoring question. Looks like bunching at the crotch when sitting down. Any way to avoid this and ready to wear. I think remember reading it has to do with zippers versus buttons. Thoughts?
Hmm.
You guys have any thoughts? And If not, I can speak on it. But
That's an
You're a
interesting one.
resident
But now,
expert.
go ahead, speak on that one.
so
Hmm.
when you're saying bunching at the crotch when sitting down, one, you're probably going to see bunching just in general because of how you sit. Unless you're like leaned all the way back and your legs are straight, that's probably the only way that you're going to see non-bunching. What I think that you're talking about is excess gathering, which can be due to a long rise.
Rise, yeah.
So if your rise is sitting long, but your pants are sitting below your waist or your stomach, then you'll definitely see a lot of that gaping and bunching in the not gaping, a lot of the bunching in the crotch area. So you can do two things. You can have them shorten the rise, and any skilled tailor will be able to do that. Um, or if you're doing it ready to wear, so that would be the best thing to do is have them shorten the rise. Um,
Or wearing it at your natural waist, right?
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If they're yes, if you're gonna pull it up, then pull your pants up. Then you may have to open up. There may be more tailoring that's gonna be done. So if you're seeing that, Key, I know that you are a slimmer guy, so it just would be about pulling your pants up. But if you have a bit of a gut, then you want to pay attention to that and make the necessary alterations, with the understanding that they may not have enough to let out either. Anyway, because you're throwing on a 34 when you really should be like in a 38. You're going to be limited. Um, so the button fly does create a cleaner rise, but that's also if it's done properly. There's not a lot of tailors that do a button front really, really well. So also just be mindful of that.
Yeah, I'm too old to be doing buttons, bro.
I'm not trying to shuffle with that if I'm running to the restroom.
Yeah, man.
Well, great
That's it.
question. Key Billy D, we got check in from Pittsburgh. All right, Billy D.
Pretty deep.
You know what I'm
Pittsburgh.
saying?
Pause.
For sure. That's a gangster.
Or a name.
Gangster.
Stylish over 60 said, my question is, what are you guys' thoughts on pinky rings? You guys, what do you think?
I don't have a problem with them. They're not for me personally, but that's what makes us all different, right? Like little things like that. So I don't have a problem with them.
Yeah, I don't either. I haven't had one in quite some time, but if I came across one that was appealing to me, I'd rock it. It depends on what I'm wearing, and it's all about context, right? When am I wearing it?
Yeah, I think context, like I always say, is key. Partly because, especially if you are in business, I was reading somewhere that like a pinky ring can create distrust because it's associated with like nefarious things, like whether you were a pimp, you were a gangster. The people who wore pinky rings were very rarely noble individuals. So there's also going to be something that is much more street driven, not in a gangster type of way, but in an urban type of way. Like that's something that you would wear in an urban setting, not so much in a business setting. With that being said, I've seen it done very well with like signet rings. It can be done very sophisticatedly. It's just about making sure that it's done graciously, I guess is the other thing. Like I still wear my I just wear a signet ring on this finger. Took it off earlier today, but like and those are my two rings. So I mean you can I know guys who wear rings on all four of their fingers on both hands and it looks good for them, but you just have to be mindful in that space, in my opinion. Context. Great question. Um
I like that question.
Michael Powell says, I got a Navy fisherman sweater today. I'm going to wear it with Navy cores. What else would look good with it?
Mm.
Gray. I mean, depending on where you are and what the temperature is like. But gray flannel is always a good bet. I wouldn't do navy on navy myself personally, but some guys do like the monochrome look. I just feel like you can bring more out of the outfit with colors that complement instead of the same color. But with navy, it shouldn't be a problem pairing it with all sorts of different colors at the bottom. So I think almost every color would work, to be honest with you.
Saljo, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's so. The fact of the matter is, you got a navy fisherman sweater and navy cord. So then, me, I would either go with a white shirt, button up collar, or a pencil stripe shirt as well, to go vertical versus the break up the solid of the navy on navy. And then it depends on the mood. I would rock a tie with it as well. I would rock a necktie since it's a fisherman sweater. Um, and maybe do like an orange or a gray, like Vlad's point, a gray type sweater, a knit sweater. Excuse me, a gray type tie, knit tie. I think will be cool too. You can put some oranges in there, some greens. There's just multiple shades that you can really go with that. You can do a chocolate or a mocha tie with that as well as a contrast color. Or, depends on where you're going to be rocking it. Just a nice polo under there.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a tie with it myself, simply because I don't know what it looks like, but fisherman sweaters that I know typically they're crew neck, right?
Yeah, they usually have a higher crew.
Yeah, so I wouldn't do a tie with that because of that. Yeah.
For me, I would still do it. And again, everybody's different, like, because you're going classic Vlad. So for me, being kind of on the fringes, if you will, I'll still wear a necktie just to give it that pop of color under there personally.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm on this thing. I probably would be with Vlad in the sense from a tie standpoint, just because it's not going to have the functionality. With this caveat, if your collar sits high, right, and then the crew is going to come here, you still have roughly about 1.5 inches of like collar space because your collar's sitting up high. Then there's an opportunity for that. If you want to wear neckwear, I would opt for a bow tie. I think that is going to sit higher and it will sit off of the fisherman sweater. I think that you could still throw that on with a pair of jeans. You could throw that on with a pair of pinwheel cords, of heavy cords. You could throw that on with a great pair, depending on the make or the fabric. You could throw that on with a great pair of linen, heavy linen trousers. I always like to think of cream, like a cream heavy 300-gram trouser, especially if you're up north in the spring, early summer, late spring, early summer. You get those 60, 70-degree days, you get that ocean breeze. It's always a nice look there. And then you could also throw on some Nantucket Reds or some colorful chinos if you wanted to add some color in that space as well. Deck shoes, of course, you could throw on. You could throw on some espadrilles. You could throw on some drivers, loafers, all that other stuff. So you have quite a bit of opportunity for you to leverage those things. Again, depending on the type of fabrication, I don't know that I would put a shirt on under it, like a collar shirt. I think that's a cool way to dress it up. But typically, I would just have like my t-shirt on under it to keep it easy breezy. But great question, and we look forward to seeing some pictures there. Billy D said, "Good evening, pause." I'm gonna have to say pause apparently after Billy D's name. Pause.
What's up, man?
And the Pookie and Ray Ray show said, "Oh man, you should do a podcast called that." I just stumbled up on members of my tribe.
Was good.
The Pookie and Ray Ray show.
Yes, sir.
He said, "S.A. heard you wouldn't wear sweaters to cigar bars because of the smell. What would you feel comfortable getting a cigar smell in?" Yeah, I've said that I personally wouldn't, partly because my wife doesn't like it. I mean, I would wear a sweater into a cigar bar, no problem, or cigar lounge, no problem. My wife doesn't particularly like it. I would throw on a blazer. I would throw on a vest like this. I've done that numerous times. A waistcoat. Um, I think the bigger conversation is what do you feel comfortable going in and having that resonant, permeation of that smell in, like having that excess smell in your garment. It's not something that easily washes out, especially if you're wearing your sweaters multiple times before you're washing them. A cardigan you're probably not washing every wear, so it's going to have the smell of cigar smoke in it, and especially if folks are smoking cheap cigars. Just bear in mind that that's where you want to pay attention. Like there was numerous times I would be in cigar lounges and people would be like, "Oh yeah, I'm smoking a cigar," and I'd be like, what are you smoking? And they'd be like, "A vanilla cigar," and I'm like, "That's a cigarello. That's not a cigar. Like you're not smoking a cigar. You're smoking the Swisher Sweet, basically." So like that's not something I would want to have in my jacket, but some people like that cigar smell. It gives it an air of masculinity. Like I said, if you can find a great fragrance that pairs well with it, then it's a compliment to the piece. You guys have thoughts on that?
No, I'm
I
with
agree with
you. I
you.
mean,
Go for it.
something thick like a sweater will definitely hold that smell in. Versus like a blazer that opens up, you can air that out a lot better than you can a sweater. Um, I'm with Mike on that.
Yeah, for me, because we talked a little bit about, Mike talked about it rather about, something you wouldn't wash a cardigan everywhere. So a turtleneck you could wash, and it should be able to get that scent out. I like what Vlad mentioned as well as far as a sport coat or blazer. But at a cigar lounge, I'd rock a turtleneck and be okay with it. Getting that cigar scent, and then again, you can wash it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
And
there's
shit,
sprays that you can use to, you spray it and then you hang it in like a basement or something but the sweater is definitely going to be harder to get the smell out than
for sure,
something
for
that
sure.
opens, you know what I mean?
I even
And
bought like some body wash that had a cigar smell to it. I really, really like. My wife
yeah,
liked
that's
it
what I
too.
said. You can find something complimentary. My biggest thing is with like a lot of the sprays or any of those other different types of things. Just remember, as you put chemicals on fabric, just make sure you're paying attention to the effects that it has. You just never know like how quickly that could be breaking down your fabric, if it's going to be good with natural fibers, just things of that nature, just to pay attention to. Because that is a great recommendation to use some of those sprays. It's just
Yeah,
always
there are specific ones made to like, take smell out without
damaging.
affecting the
Okay.
fabric. So it's I might have mentioned in a podcast episode I did, but I know I definitely mentioned it in one of my workshop that I did on how to take care of your clothes.
Okay.
So
Make sure you check that out on. I'm sure is it that's one of the workshops is on YouTube, right?
no, it's not on YouTube, but I would check the podcast for that
Okay.
episode. I might have mentioned it on there too.
Yeah, check out the podcast. I'm not a gentleman podcast. Um Starts over 60 said, oh, and Zev said I'm so judgmental. Zev Kohler said I'm so judgmental. I'm not judgmental. I'm trying to help you. Help me help you. Um and Chris Lisa 43 on Instagram says I've heard that you can use vodka in the mist bottle to remove smells and scents. I've heard that too. I don't know if I trust it. I heard that briefly. Like you can add some vodka because vodka doesn't hold a smell. Like that you can use that. I don't know if I trust that, but fair. Size over 60 said, what would you gentlemen recommend the type of sweater to wear with a OCBD shirt, crew neck or V neck for guys who may just be getting started in their style journey? The OCBD stands for Oxford Cloth Button Down Collar. Um, Guys, you got thoughts?
Um, they both could work. the V-neck is going to show more of it, more of the shirt. But they both could work. I've worn both. But at the same time, I don't wear a tie with my OCBDs. So if I'm wearing OCBD, I never wear a tie. So that's something to keep in mind. If you want your tie to show, then it would definitely be the V-neck. But yeah, I've rocked both, bro.
I'm with Vlad on this one. Then I like if you're gonna add a third option would be exactly what Vlad has on tonight, which is a cardigan.
Yep.
I would say that mine is paying attention to your face. So do you look better with a crew neck naturally? If you have a longer neckline, you probably don't want to continue to extend that with the V-neck. And usually if you're wearing a V-neck, in most cases nowadays, not so much in the late 90s, early 2000s, you would wear your shirt open. So now essentially you have your shirt open with another thing that's drawing your attention down. That's the easy short answer. The longer answer is going to be how deep, pause, is the V going to be? Is it a high V? Because that you have high Vs that can look like a crew. You have deeper Vs that are going to, like Vlad and Style Jumper were saying, will give you more a more visual line to your collar and the opening thereof. So just things that you want to think about there. I'm in agreement with them that you can throw on a crew or a V-neck. If you want to show more of the shirt, you're probably going to throw on a V-neck unless you have a high collar shirt. So it's just important to pay attention to those things. I told you it's going to happen. All right, two more questions. One from the same, or actually one more question. This is our man from Chris Lisa 43. I'm looking to purchase an overcoat. I want to make sure. I think this is going to be you, Vlad. I'm looking to purchase an overcoat to wear over a suit. I'm a size 42 regular. What should I look for in an overcoat? 44 regular? This is a thought.
That's the safest way. That's like if you can try it on, that would be what I would do as a safe option. But it always depends on the brand. Some brands cut their coats naturally to fit over a suit of the same size. But most of them probably you have to size up. So it depends. But it sounds like you can't try it on. You might be ordering it online. Then to play it safe, I would go with the bigger option. If there's an option to get both and return one, then that's what I would do. But it's always better to go bigger than smaller. So I would go with one size up. Pause.
Sound crazy talking about us.
Yeah, that was one.
Yeah, I was gonna also say the only other thing that I would add to that is pay attention to the armholes, because even it's interesting. A lot of companies will still pay attention to making the body bigger on the jacket, the body, but then they don't necessarily pay attention to the armholes. And I've had plenty of guys who it fits in the body, but it's always uncomfortable here when they have to wear a jacket. And then also just think about how you like to wear your overcoats. If you really like it, like on the suit jacket, and you want it close to the body, then pay attention to that fit as well, because it can get too big for you on the flip side, in that place as well. So.
That's it.
Style Jumper, you got some thoughts? I just want to make sure you.
No, I'm good. You guys answered it well.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, we are about to head into the Menswear Mastermind. If you are interested in joining, it's only $47 a month at this time. And if you want to get it for the year, you can purchase it for $470 and get 2 months free. You can go to patreon.com/Menswear Mastermind to join. If you join right now, you still may have an opportunity to join tonight's conversation. Glad, I think we still got a couple minutes. So if so, great. We talk menswear, and you have 3 different perspectives. You have the casual with Style Jumper. You have the classic with Vlad, and then you also have custom with me. So it's going to be a beautiful thing. Make sure that you join. And we also talk about manhood, masculinity, marriage, all those other great things. All right. So we will see you guys next week. And don't forget that you can join patreon.com/Menswear Mastermind. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.